In this video, we'll take a look at how you can get started with your Thingy 91 prototyping platform and getting it connected to Nordic's cloud solution, NRF Connect for Cloud. The Thingy 91 comes shipped with an application called the Asset Tracker, which collects various data from the sensors on the device, then transmits this data to our cloud platform via LTE, where it is visualized on the NRF Connect for Cloud web interface. First, let's open up the box and take out the Thingy 91 and the iBasis eSIM that it comes shipped with. The iBasis eSIM has an ICC ID, which are the two first lines of digits printed on the back here, and a PUC code which you'll find by scratching off the bottom area on the back. You will need these numbers for later, so make a note of them on your computer. Then pop out the eSIM card, take off the silicone cover on the Thingy 91 and put the card in the SIM card holder. Now plug the device into the computer using a micro USB cable and switch it on. Before we get started with connecting to NRF Connect for Cloud, you need to update both the application firmware and the modem firmware on the NRF 9160 SIP on the Thingy 91. To begin, let's download this firmware from Nordic's website. You can find the link in the upper right-hand corner right now. Scroll down to where it says Pre-compiled Application and Modem Firmware and download this zip file onto your computer. Make sure to extract the contents of the zip file before you proceed. We now have the modem firmware and application images both for updating over a debug probe and over USB. The file named contents.txt describes the contents of each directory and file. Open up NRF Connect for Desktop on your computer and launch the program or application. Make sure the Thingy 91 is connected to your computer via a micro USB cable and that it is turned on. Select the device in the program or application. The Thingy 91 board is called PCA20035. The first thing to do is scroll down in the menu to the right and make sure Enable MCU Boot is selected. MCU Boot is a secure bootloader on the Thingy 91 that we can use to flash applications without needing an external debugger. To use the MCU Boot bootloader, we need to put the device into serial recovery mode before flashing. This is done by switching the device off and then pushing either this big button here for the NRF 9160 or this small button here for the NRF 52840, while simultaneously turning the device on. To flash a new modem firmware, scroll all the way down in the menu to the right where it says Cellular Modem and choose Update Modem. Navigate to the folder you downloaded from Nordic's website earlier. Inside, the modem firmware zip file will have the name MFW, NRF 9160, and then whichever version is the latest, which right now is version 120. Select the zip file, hit Open, and then choose Write to update. When the process is complete, you'll see this message in green. To update the application firmware, scroll up to where it says File and select Add Hex File. Navigate to the folder we downloaded earlier. We're going to go into Images, DFU, Hex, which are the application images to use when updating over USB instead of using a debug probe. There are a few different files here. Have a look at the text file named Contents for information on which files are the Asset Tracker firmware. Please note that there are different versions of the firmware, depending on if you are connecting over LTE-M or NB-IoT. And when using NB-IoT, there is also an option for a legacy PCO. Legacy PCO mode is only to be used when the network you are connecting with does not support extended PCO. If you're unsure whether your network supports this, you can either contact your network provider or start with the NB-IoT file without legacy PCO mode enabled, and if you have trouble connecting, try the other one. When you've selected the file, choose Open. Now go down to Device and select Write, and then Write again to flash the application. When this green message appears, the update is complete. When you've updated the firmware, the next thing to do is activate the iBasis eSIM that comes with the device. To do this, go to nrfcloud.com and log in. Select the large blue plus sign in the upper left-hand corner and select Add New LTE Device. Then you will see this window pop up to activate SIM card. Input the SIM ICC ID and the PUC code, both of which we wrote down on a notepad earlier. Make sure to read the Terms and Privacy Policy and then hit Activate. Add your information in the next window that shows up and hit Submit. Now that you've activated the SIM card, let the device connect. Make sure your device is switched on, then wait for it to connect to the network and to NRF Connect for Cloud. The color of the LED tells us when that has happened. Please note that the process of connecting can take up to several minutes if it's the first time, so be patient. Now we can see that the Thingy91 is connected to the cloud and is awaiting user association. Back to NRF Connect for Cloud, we need to add the information on the Thingy91 to add the device to the website. Enter the device ID, which is the text NRF- followed by the 15-digit email, which you will find on a white sticker on the board after taking off the silicone cover. This is case sensitive, so make sure all the letters are lowercase. And then below we enter the PIN, which is also printed on the white sticker. When you have entered the information, hit Add Device and wait. Now you should see the device in your device list here, and you can see all the sensor data being transmitted to the cloud from your Thingy91. The LED on the Thingy91 should also be blinking blue at this moment, meaning it's connected to NRF Connect for Cloud and sending environment data. If we give the device a little flip, we can go into the web browser and it will be visualized on the website. The next thing we're going to do is enable the GPS on the device. The board must be outdoors to do this. Hold the big button down for a minimum of 10 seconds to enable GPS tracking. Once again, the color of the LED will tell us what's happening.